Yes, sir. It's a 3-man breakdown. We back with another episode. Today we got a good episode for y'all. We got special guests. First, before we introduce anybody, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, any of those streaming platforms, do me a favor, give us a like, share, 5-star rating, all of that. Help us get up in the algorithm. And with that being said, let's get into it, man. I got Reg here with me. I got Kimball here with me. And we got our special guest, Isaac from Global Scouting, man. Say what's up.
What's up? Thank y'all for having me again. I'm excited to talk some draft prospects.
All right. So, today that's what we're going to do. We're going to be talking draft comparisons, prospects, and all that good stuff. So, Reg, take it from me.
So over like the past 2 months, I was just thinking of ideas to do for draft prospects. I was like, let's compare these prospects to basically like previous ones from the past. So we basically run down through all these and talk about who we're hiring on as prospects. So not taking count of the NBA, what they're doing in NBA, just as what they did in college. So the first two guys we're going to talk about, who you guys hire on, Bryce McGowens or Brandon Boston. Brandon Boston was a top 10 player, and he went to Kentucky and didn't have the season he was really projecting to have. And Bryce McGowens went to a team in Nebraska where they're not too good, and he got his shine for getting shots and stuff. But he was really kind of inconsistent at points, but showed flashes. So who you guys hire
on? I feel like it's more of a recency bias because I've seen a lot of Bryce McGowens lately. But I do remember Brandon Boston coming in, and I was definitely low on him just based off that season he had at Kentucky. So I'm going to have to go with Bryce McGowens.
You can go. My bad.
All right. Man, for me, definitely, like, as a Kentucky fan, man, coming in, Brandon Boston, like, man, you couldn't tell me he was going to have the season he had, man. But before that, like, I really saw him as, like, a really good, tough prospect. Like, he showed me, like, a lot of flashes of shot creation, deep range ability. But of course, that bad season at Kentucky, that didn't really do much for me. So, yeah, I think at this point, from what I've seen now, I'll probably go with Bryce McGowens overall.
Yeah, I'll probably agree. I'd go Bryce McGowens. I think it's kind of unique, too, with their situations. Bryce was the guy at Nebraska. He went to a smaller school with Nebraska, and Boston kind of went to Kentucky. They were really hyped up preseason. Obviously, didn't live up to expectations, but I like Bryce a little bit more. I think he's better around the rim as a finisher. You still have the shot making and stuff. Better season overall, too. I still buy Bryce McGowan's long range shot. And I think I think he has a chance to be like a top 3 option on a contending team. I still have him like 21 on my draft board, but I probably lean towards Bryce McGowens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go Bryce McGowens too. I think the thing that really sets it apart was like his slashing ability and getting to the basket, and the athleticism like really popped, and the shot creation is also there for him. And like you said, I do buy into the shot end up being better. I think where do you shoot like 30%?
Yes,
27. Yeah. So I think in the NBA in a couple of years he could get that up, and also as he gets stronger, I think he could be, better than Brandon Boston.
Yeah.
I forgot where I put him on my board. I'm about to go and double check real quick. I ended up playing Bryce McGowens at 17, so I'm kind of pretty high on Bryce.
Yeah. Man, I'm definitely there too. And like, Reg, I think I said it a couple times in the past. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I really do buy in on his, like you were just saying, Isaac. Like, I really do buy in on that long range ability. Like, I just feel like he's just gonna be like really like electric from all 3 levels. It might take some time, but I think eventually, like, he's gonna surprise some people down the line.
Yeah, it'll take some time for him to adjust to the NBA, obviously. He'll still need to put on some weight and stuff and adjust the 3-point line, but I can easily see him being like a really lethal 3-level scorer. He could average 20 a game. I still buy the upside. Some have him outside the first round. There's no way I could even drop him to like the lowest I can have him is 25. The offensive ceiling is just way too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Where do you think would be the best fit for him, like a team?
If I'm going off like the later where he's rejected, I kind of want to see him in a team like Milwaukee. Give him a score there. Nuggets wouldn't be bad because they kind of need a tall wing.
Yeah, I like that.
I would say Brooklyn, but you already have Kyrie and KD there and they'll have the ball in their hands. They just got Cam Thomas last year.
Doesn't 76ers have the pick now?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, Philly wouldn't be a bad fit either, even though they have Maxey and Harden.
I think one of them I was thinking about is Memphis.
That isn't too bad. They got Zaire Williams last year, and Zaire was a lot better this year than I anticipated. I thought he was barely going to see any court time, but he was actually really productive this year.
Yeah. And funny enough, I was talking about, like, after that pick happened, I was like, there's not much of a difference to me between Brandon Boston and Zaire Williams. Like, the differentiate, like, how one went like 11th pick and the other one like 45th.
50, 40, 50, something like that.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of wild during draft night, but Zaire Williams definitely did impress me.
Yeah. Zaire Williams definitely isn't 40 picks better than Brandon Boston. I will for sure say that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that much better at all.
All right, we can move on to the next one. It is Jaden Hardy and Cam Thomas, 2 bucket getters.
Yeah. I was probably low on Cam Thomas coming out of college only because I thought that his game wouldn't be able to translate. And I know we're not speaking in hindsight, but if I were to try to reevaluate him, I would say that maybe I was a little bit wrong on like his NBA game or like his NBA potential. So I'm gonna have to go. I don't know because I've been a little bit low on Hardy as well. I'm a little damn. I'm gonna go Cam Thomas.
Oh, I think for me, because Cam Thomas, I really follow Oak Hill a lot, and when Cam Thomas is there, he definitely showed like flashes of like he's gonna hunt his shot for definitely gonna hunt his shot. But as prospects, like I could agree with Jay. I didn't think like he was gonna really translate as much in terms of like just like continuously just firing off and just like putting up like high like just coming out and producing right away. But I think I would go with Jaden Hardy. I think if Jaden Hardy was in college, I think he'd probably do something similar around there to what Cam Thomas was doing. Not on like just like letting it go too much, but I think he would have succeeded in college. And I think overall, I'll take Jaden Hardy as a prospect.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'd lean more towards Hardy. I think you still get the scoring ability. I like the way Hardy scores a little bit more, the way he gets his shots. I think he's a little bit better as a passer too. He showed more passing flashes in the G League. Cam, I wasn't too high on him, I would say. I think I had him in my 20s. I just didn't like the way he got some of his buckets. But I mean, I knew he'd be like, he's just, I think Oak Hill's all-time leading scorer, if I recall.
Yeah.
He's just a pure bucket. And whenever he got to the Nets, I love that fit. But I'll probably lean more towards Jaden Hardy. You still get 3 levels scoring, good in the pick and roll, and showed some passing flashes.
Yeah, I'll go Jaden Hardy too. Just based off like the fact that he could score at 3 levels just as well as Cam Thomas. I think he's a better shooter and the playmaking ability. What the flashes that he's showing. All right, the next one we can move on to is Chet Holmgren and Evan Mobley. I think I'll go first. This is pretty easy for me. I'll go Evan Mobley.
Yeah. Why do you go Evan Mobley?
Well, I feel like if Evan Mobley was in this draft, I think he'll be the number 1 pick. And I just like, he was just so fluid, and his defense, I think, is a little bit better than Chet. And I like the passing ability that he has, and I don't want to talk about what he did for the Cavs, but it's just special to me. And the size, the frame, I'm not too worried about as I am with Chet.
Yeah, he definitely could hold up. Yeah, I think he was like I agree with you. I'll go with Evan Mobley as well. I have my concerns about Chet, not only because of the frame, but I just don't know, like, in terms of what people kind of like rating him as, I'm like 50-50 on what type of player Chet is going to ultimately become. But I agree with the Evan Mobley side, because I think he showed more, especially like I like the body, like most importantly, the physicals ahead of Chet, even though they're kind of similar. But Mobley, he could definitely hold a little more mass onto him than I feel like a Chet. And I could possibly hinder Chet in the future, but depending on where you play him. But yeah, overall, I'll lean over to Evan Mobley.
I'll go with Mobley too. I like the deep. I was really like, Evan Mobley in most drafts is probably going number one. Like in this draft, undoubtedly he'd be the number one pick to me. Last year just because you have Cade. I'll go Mobley. He's better as a passer in that short roll. There's some similarities in their game, but Mobley's frame's a little bit better. I think he's better on the perimeter defensively. He was like one of the best defensive rookies all time. He was like one of the best defenders in the NBA as a rookie. I don't think he's the same level of shot blocker as Chet, but I'd pretty comfortably take Mobley over Chet.
I agree.
The one thing I probably like with Chet's game a little bit more than Mobley is probably the shooting. But other than that, I like Mobley in that terms. And you have Paulo number one in your big board, right?
Yeah, Paulo's been one since I think my whole year, actually. I think whole year Paulo's been number one for me.
Wow. I think you're the first one to have like one player number one the entire year.
Yeah. I think I stuck it out. It's really between him and Chet for me. They've been 1 and 2, I think, all year. Yeah. But Paulo's game is just the offensive game is just too elite. He'll be a mismatch problem in the NBA. That's why he's my number one.
All right, moving on. Benedict Mathurin and Moses Moody.
Damn, that's a tough one.
I'll go Moses Moody. I'm not a huge Mathurin guy, but I'll go Moody because I trust the defense a little bit more. He's a little bit longer, and then I think he is a little bit more off the dribble than Mathurin. I don't trust Mathurin's handle. I know Moody needs to tighten up just a little bit, but I was really high on Moody. I think I had him right behind Scotty. I think I had him 7 on my draft board last year or 6 or something like that. I just see some Chris Middleton in his game. I love the Warriors fit. I know he isn't playing much this year. He's played a little bit in the playoffs, but I'll comfortably take Moses Moody over Mathurin.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on everything that you said.
But the one reason why, like, you know, what's crazy because I feel like a lot of like the scout guys do not like Mathurin. Why? Well, I feel like watching him, especially throughout the tournament, he did play a little bit bad, especially the last game in the tournament he played.
Oh, against Houston?
Yeah. He played. That was a bad showing. But overall, I think that this season, like you said, maybe his handling can use a little bit more work and just a little bit more of playmaking because we didn't really see that much playmaking from him. Mm-hmm. But overall, I feel like he puts the ball in the basket. I feel like he's an efficient player.
I guess one reason I'd be lower on him, I kind of just see him as like I know it's kind of, I still have him like, I think 12 on my board right now or 11 maybe. I just kind of see him as like kind of like a Buddy Hield role player. I don't really see much star in him just because of the limited handle. And then the in-between game around the mid-range and floater just isn't as there. Like a three-pointer is one of the best. He don't get talked about enough as a shooter. Like I think he's one of the best shooters in draft pretty comfortably. But the on-ball defense is there. Just sometimes against Houston, the off-ball defense kind of, you could see him just falling asleep way too often.
Yeah,
he's a little bit underwhelming. But he has the athletic tools. He's a much better athlete than Moody was. I think he can improve there. But I just think I see more as like kind of a role player for Mathurin. I mean, Moody probably will end up more as a role player too, but I think there's a little bit more chance that he hits kind of like a third option on team than Mathurin. That'd be my reasoning.
I see it.
Kemba, did you answer?
Oh yeah. For me, I think I'm higher on Mathurin. I think I buy into the shooting and the athleticism. I don't know how I feel about Moses Moody, like what type of player he's really gonna truly become. Like I agree with what you're saying about his defense and the shooting, but I feel like Mathurin will. I think he can still be a pretty solid offensive player. Mm-hmm. I think the ball handling could still come together. Like I've seen a lot, some flashes of it a little bit, but I really buy into his shooting and his potential on the other side of the ball defensively, and then just athleticism as well. I think I really like that in Mathurin. But it's really a close one to me, but I think I'm going to lean towards the Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Moses Moody. Just off the fact that, like, at Arkansas, I like that he was able to get to his spots and the plus wingspan that he had and the defense, I think is a little bit better than Mathurin's. And I do see him probably being a better scorer at the next level. And Mathurin, he kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, a more athletic version of KCP.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a good comparison.
Because the handle is not really there, but he can also shoot. And KCP he's like a line drive type of guy.
Yeah, he's not really doing too much herky
Yeah.
jerky shit. He getting straight to the basket. And if he
Yeah.
don't want the shot, he passing. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, we can move on to the next one. Kennedy Chandler and Sharif Cooper. This is a tough one for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly,
I'll go Sharif Cooper. I think Sharif Cooper, even though he fell all the way to the second round, because they both lack size, but Cooper's just was a next level playmaker. I think he's like on a whole nother tier as a passer. And I think he still averaged 20 despite not being able to really shoot at Auburn. I think he still averaged like 20. And I don't know, I can't remember what his exact averages were, but
I got it pulled up right here. It was 20
I think it was
points,
nearly 20 and 10.
20 points,
Yeah.
4 rebounds, and 8 assists.
yeah, like
Yeah.
even though he lacks size and he isn't the defender that Kenny Chandler is, just that playmaking ability just elevates his teammates so much. I don't know what's going to happen with him on the Hawks. He obviously isn't going to end up starting on the Hawks. I know he was on, I think, a 2-way deal, if I recall. But if I'm going strictly off what I was like at colleges, I definitely would take Sharif.
Yeah,
I think I might
definitely
get the
agree.
edge of Sharif too. Because I thought he was a first round guy last year.
Oh, same.
But
Agree.
the Rockets took him.
Yeah, I thought that would have been a good fit for the Rockets. I like Kennedy Chandler, but I don't know. The size just
The size is definitely one glaring thing.
the
But yeah,
size.
I feel like that defense, though, like even though he is small, he's a fighter defensively. And that's something you would need. I feel like Sharif Cooper, he was like lackadaisical on defense. He didn't really want to play.
Yeah. Yeah, Kennedy's one of the best defensive guards I've seen at like 6'1", 6 foot. He legitimately is a defensive playmaker at that size. He gets a ton of
Yeah,
blocks too for his size. He'll get a lot of blocks more than you
He a good
anticipate for
athlete,
someone.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quick.
with a plus wingspan too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Kennedy. I'm gonna take Kennedy.
I'm gonna still stick with Sharif Cooper.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Sharif. Yeah, that playmaking was unreal. Like off
Yeah.
the gates, like I didn't even expect him the way. Like I think like just like straight off the gates, like his playmaking
It's a
and
lot of games. Too.
ability to get.
Yeah, because I think he
Yeah,
missed
'cause
the
he was
first half of the
ineligible.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that makes it a little bit more impressive.
And I think he had an injury at the end of the year, if I recall. Or
I
something
think he
like
was
that, where
getting to the
missed.
line a lot too when he was at.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was just attacking like a lot for real. But
You know,
the
I was
shooting
think-
definitely set it apart.
you know, I was thinking too.
What?
What if he
What?
stayed at Auburn this year?
That would be
They
scary.
could've
With
They
Jabari
might go
Smith.
undefeated.
I do not like the guard play all.
Yeah, Wendell Green, his shot selection was a little annoying.
Because there was so many times when Jabari Smith, like he needed to get a shot, but Wendell Green and KD Johnson thought they were Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum.
I mean, get me started on KD Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, Sharif would have got Jabari an extra 8 points, would have made Walker Kessler for sure like a lottery pick. If Sharif would have came back, I just can't see any way they didn't win it all. Sharif would have
That's
changed
all
everything
great.
for him.
Yeah, damn. All right, we can move on to the next one. Keegan Murray and Obi Toppin.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to go Keegan Murray.
Yeah,
Like we just watched his highlights like a week or two ago, and off rip, I feel like the skill level and the talent that he had, like just coming into the league. I don't know if Obi had that or even still has that that skill. Like I've never seen him, even though he might have, but I've never really seen it where he's backing people down and like hitting the fadeaway or like hitting like those tough shots that Keegan Murray was hitting. I don't really see Obi being able to hit those tough shots consistently.
Yeah, I'll probably go Keegan Murray. I think Keegan's a way better defender than Obi too. I was really low in Obi Toppin. I think I had him like bottom of the like 18 or something, 17 back in 2020. I think Keegan, I'm just more confident you can put him on any team and he'll fit. He can shoot the ball. He can just drive and finish. He's going to defend. Just statistically, he was all over the board this year, improved a ton from a year ago, he obviously had a bigger role because he had Luka Garza last year, but I'll probably go Keegan Murray. I think I have him top 10 right now because I'm pretty confident you can put him on any team and I think he'll find success.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
Yeah, I had to go Keegan Murray too.
yeah, Keegan Murray definitely. I think he'll definitely translate.
Because Obi Toppin's defense was definitely underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Just for that size and be able to be like,
Yeah, and how athletic he is. It gets me mad when like somebody's like so athletic, it's just terrible on defense.
because that just comes down to like effort. Because when you be able, like, he's literally able to cover the entire floor if he really wanted to.
That's what used to get me pissed off about like Wiggins early on.
Wiggins, yeah.
When he like didn't play defense, but he was like one of the most athletic people in the league.
And the longest, Paul.
All right, we can move on to the next one. We got two Duke players, Paolo Banchero and Marvin Bagley.
I was hard on Paolo.
I'm going Paolo too.
Yeah, I'll definitely go Paolo. Just complete offensive game, 3-level scorer. Better. I feel like he has a better feel as a passer. Stronger his frame will let him be a little bit more healthy. I'll comfortably go Paolo.
Yeah,
I agree.
And Marvin Bagley, oh my God, he was a
his second jumper.
Yeah.
He was a plate, bro.
Like we was talking about how bad Obi Toppin was. Marvin Bagley was so bad we had to switch to 2-3 zone.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Duke in the 2-3s on the screen.
Wasn't that like the only year Duke ever really played 2-3?
Yeah,
him, Gary Trent, Grayson Allen.
That's crazy.
And that should have been the year too, because we played Kansas that year, and I remember Malik Newman and Makai Luke was going nuts from
Makai
3.
Luke.
And I'm like, yo, just switch to man. But Marvin Bagley, it was bad.
Yeah, he ain't going. He ain't going.
Duvall was on that team too. Trayvon Duvall.
Yeah.
Damn, I haven't heard Trayvon Duvall's name in a minute.
Man. Yeah, that's
what is he doing right now? Is he in the G League?
Yeah, he's in the G League still.
Yeah, he should have went to Seton Hall back then. Played with Miles Powell.
Nah, he probably should have. Looking back on it,
that would have been a tough backway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that shooting, yuck.
Yeah, this shot was broke. I remember my cousin said he was rebounding him for him one day at Seton Hall, and he said he was getting mad because like his rebounds was just going everywhere. He just kept missing.
Hey yo, probably getting a workout and just rebounding. That's crazy.
Nah, I'll be pissed. Ain't no way you're supposed to be an NBA player, and I'm over here fighting for my life, running for every single rebound.
We'll get a hell of cardio.
I'm getting more work in than you. All right, next one, Ty Washington and Tre Mann.
Ooh. I'm going to go.
I'm going to go Tre Mann.
The reason why I don't want to say Tre Mann is because I feel like he proved himself more once he got into the league.
Yeah.
Rather than when like coming into the league when he got into the league, he proved himself rather than coming into the league because he grew like right before he got into the league. I don't know. I feel like if I were to pick him, it would just be based off of what he did in the league.
I'll go Tre Mann. Yeah. I like his shot creation ability. Like he definitely creates more space than Ty Washington, and I was pretty high on him coming into the draft too.
And he definitely a better scorer than Ty Washington, I think.
Yeah, I feel like Ty. I just have my concerns with him. I don't know, and I think
I've never been high on Ty.
I think if Tre Mann was in this class, he'll be a lottery pick to me. Or probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
best point guard out of all these players.
Yeah, I'll go
Ty, Kennedy Chandler.
I'll go Tre Mann. I think I had him top 10 on my board last year. Just his handle was elite. He had the best handle in the draft last year. Flexibility and stuff. He's able to create space way better than Ty. That's one of my concerns with Ty. He doesn't really create a ton of space off the dribble. He kind of really needs a ball screen. But with Tre Mann, I mean, his ability to shoot off the dribble so effortlessly and create space is just really elite. And on OKC, he really did. He did a lot better than anticipated this first year just because they already had Giddey and Shea. I thought he was going to see a bunch of minutes, but he did better than I thought.
Yeah. I really like Ty. I'm definitely higher on Ty than a lot of people, but I do agree with the Tre Mann thing because, like you said, like Ty, I feel like he can still create, but of course he's definitely more better. And like if you give him in pick and roll situations, I think he's one of the better pick and roll guys in the draft. And
I agree.
But Tre Mann, like you said, his size with his shot making ability and his potential shooting wise, I think that probably puts it over for me with over Ty. But in regards, speaking on Ty, I still believe in his ability to be just crafty and pick and roll and just like I feel like me personally, I think he has an in between game that can be relied upon. But yeah, I think I'll go Tre Mann as well.
Yeah, I still have Ty Ty as my top point guard in this draft, even though it's not really a strong point guard class. He's elite in the pick and roll, got elite mid range game, floater. Just doesn't put a ton of pressure on the rim, and sometimes he really does rely on the ball screen. But he's still my number one point guard with Kennedy 2 and Young Matero 3.
Yeah, I got the same.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. Next one.
Johnny Davis and James Bouknight.
Definitely Johnny Davis for me. Johnny Davis was. I feel like, man, James Bouknight. He was nice to me. He was the kind of guy who came out of nowhere. But I'm definitely high on Johnny Davis. I think his scoring ability, his ability to score. I think he can score at all 3 levels. I think it'll get there. His jump shot. I believe in his jump shot going forward, and just his ability to also defend as well, and his rebounding defensively as well. I'm really buying into that. So I'll go Johnny Davis.
It's a tough one for me.
Yeah, this is tough.
I'm kind of stuck
because I really liked James Bouknight last year.
Yeah, I did like James Bouknight. Yeah.
I'll probably go
like a 3-level score. He did a lot, but if I'm gonna have to choose that defensive edge that Johnny Davis,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The defense separates.
Because Johnny was a dog. Like what he was doing at Wisconsin, the amount of usage that he had and how good he was defensively, I think that was like the most impressive thing I've seen from Johnny. And he came out of nowhere for me too.
Yeah, I was about to say he's probably most improved.
Yeah. I'll go Johnny Davis. The defense is kind of the separator for me.
Yep.
Really good in the mid-range area, and he's just like an elite perimeter defender. If he ends up being, I think he'd be a better role player than Bouknight. But as stars, if Bouknight reaches a ceiling and gets more minutes next year, hopefully, I think he can. His ceiling's a little bit higher than Johnny's.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. All right, AJ Griffin and DeAndre Hunter.
Oh,
I'm going AJ Griffin.
I'm going AJ Griffin.
Yeah, I'm going AJ Griffin. I don't think I like DeAndre Hunter, but in terms of potentially wise, I definitely expect AJ Griffin. Like I had a ceiling way higher than DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, I thought DeAndre Hunter would come just play a role.
Yeah, I'll go AJ Griffin. I think the higher ceiling, way better as a shooter, even though his shot base is kind of wide. But I still think he has some athleticism he can get back to, despite all the injuries he's dealt with. He's also one of the youngest players in the draft. I think DeAndre Hunter was in his second year. I'll go Griffin.
Yeah, I'll go Griffin too.
Question about Griffin. You just brought it up, the athleticism. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. That athleticism is do you think that the injuries that he's been taking over the years, do you think that'll be like a factor in his pro career? Like, will he be able to get over the injuries, or is it just like a college injury bug or high school injury bug? And will that affect, like, because this past season, we didn't see him get up at all. Like, we didn't see no athleticism at all. Like, it just didn't even make sense, especially compared to like his high school highlights.
Right.
So what is your take on that?
He definitely has he definitely isn't the same athlete as he once was before the injuries. It can add up, especially if it's back to back to back to back. He was still like on the start of the year, even right before the season started, he had another injury. So he was getting like no minutes to start the year. So it could have also been just like a mental thing where he was kind of scared to go a little bit use his full athleticism. That was always an option. But I'm still optimistic he can reach his where he used to be athletically. I think he's a little bit more explosive than what he showed this year, because there was really rarely any moments where he showed, like, I remember seeing, I think it was his junior year. I think it was Mike Schmitz in the practice. He snaked the ball screen and just exploded at the rim. You didn't see it. You didn't really see that at all at Duke. And I think there's some upside there to where he can get back to that. Even though his stock probably is going to drop just a little bit, just because there's that injury concerns is really noticeable, and there was a bunch of them before college. So
yeah, I'm all in on AJ Griffin.
Facts.
I think the shooting, I definitely buy it. He's shown a little bit like a shiftiness with the handle, and I think Duke should have definitely used him more, and a little bit of pick and roll and getting like handoffs and getting downhill. But I think the athleticism will come back at least a little bit. Like, I think he's a better athlete than when he showed at Duke.
Yeah.
And defensively, he definitely needs to improve upon that. But I think eventually he missed like 2 years. So, and he's still one of the youngest players. So I think he'll end up figuring out.
Before we get off these two, last question about AJ Griffin. He brought it up before too. The wide shot base. Although he is very, very, very efficient, do you try to change that or you keep it how it is? Because that looks like it could be or like something could be wrong with that coming into the NBA. That shot base is way too wide.
Yeah, if AJ Griffin's shot, the lower base, it'll be a little bit concerning. I think you let it ride to start the season, kind of see where you're at with like the first couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it goes in, it goes in at the end of the day. But I know Alonzo it was a little bit different because his was a little bit up. It was kind of like a slingshot, but they kind of let it ride to see how it was to start the season. And then obviously it wasn't really working. I think it's kind of the same with AJ. You just let him do his thing because it's obviously been working. He's one of the best years in the draft. So you don't want to change one of the best years in the draft, anything like that, mess with it or tweak it to where it can make it worse without really seeing it. So definitely let's see how it translates to the NBA line. Let him get through some rookie bumps and then kind of by a little bit like January time, maybe to see where you're at with the jumper. Is it if it's wide misses or if the problem's the lower base, then to kind of change it. But I think to start the season, you just let it ride.
But
yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a similar situation how everybody's talking about how Tyrese Halliburton's jump shot was kind of a little bit weird and funky.
Oh yeah.
So, like you said, I'll just let it ride out. Like, if it's messed up, you could work on it in the off season or whenever you can to improve upon that. But just if it's broke, don't fix it right now.
Yeah, because that was really consistent throughout the whole year, surprisingly to me, because I didn't think he was that good of a shooter coming in, especially the way he was at the clip he was shooting at. I didn't think he was going to be there, but consistently throughout the whole year, I think he's shown that he can really hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So we can move on to the next one. Jaden Ivey and De'Aaron Fox.
Damn.
I'm going Jaden Ivey. Why? Just because although I was really high on De'Aaron Fox as well, I just feel like maybe it is a little recency thing, but
the way Jaden Ivey Fox at Kentucky though.
I know. Damn, yeah. Because the last thing I remember about De'Aaron Fox at Kentucky was that
Lonzo.
Yeah, that UCLA game. Damn. I'm gonna stay with Jaden Ivey because it's just the way that even though Jaden Ivey had that little poor performance in March Madness, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at his whole season as a whole, and he is different. His change of pace, the way he gets to the rack every single time he attacks the ball, the basket. And sometimes he'll have no space at all and somehow get out clean with a clean layup. I'm like, how the hell does that even happen in transition? So I'm gonna have to go with Jaden Ivey.
I'll go De'Aaron Fox. I still have Ivy 4, but I don't know. I get a little scared because sometimes I'm scared it'll be like a Dennis Smith Jr. case, or he'll end up being like a star. Like he has like that one of the highest ceilings, obviously, in the draft, just because there's no athlete even near him in this year's draft, or maybe even last year's draft. But Fox, I don't know. I like him. I think he's a little bit more in the mid-range game. He uses mid-range jumper a little bit more in college. He really liked that one dribble pull-up from the mid-range. Ivy has like a non-existent mid-range. I think Fox is a little bit more better with his right hand. Like with Ivy, he's like a non-existent left-hander with his left hand. And I think I like Fox a little bit more as a playmaker. But Ivy's ceiling's probably a little bit higher than Fox, so I could go either way with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely agree with the De'Aaron Fox one. Like I really enjoy De'Aaron Fox. Out of all the point guards I've seen at Kentucky, De'Aaron Fox is definitely one of my favorites. And I do team. Him and Malik Monk. Like I like that backcourt a lot. And yeah, like you said, his mid-range game, and I really liked. I think De'Aaron Fox had a pretty solid handle too as well. And I really trusted him on the defensive side of the ball. At times it would kind of be shaky, but I feel like De'Aaron Fox, he kind of held his own, and he also outplayed a lot of the guys that was going at him. Like you mentioned, Lonzo Ball, and also as like a leader, I also believe I liked him as just like that lead guard. De'Aaron Fox coming in, and his athleticism, he was also a really solid athlete. Even though Jaden Ivey is off the charts athleticism, but I did trust De'Aaron Fox's athleticism as well. On top of the mid-range game, and his three-pointer wasn't almost there, but he had games where he would have had some good looks from three. But I think overall as a prospect, I was higher on I will go with De'Aaron Fox just overall.
Okay.
This is really tough for me. I feel like I could go either way.
Yeah, it is tough.
but I'm really high on Jaden Ivey. I'll stick with him. I think I like the shot a little bit better. And both of them is just in the open court. They're just both electric and one of the they're two of the fastest players I've ever seen in my life. Like I just can't imagine trying to stop them like when they're going downhill.
They might be teammates too.
Yeah. So we could talk about that too. How do you like that fit?
It'll be fun, but I don't know if it'll win games. I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't know because they both need the ball in their hands. I don't think you can have really either or as a kind of like a spot up shooter. Even though Ivy did improve it, I think Ivy's a little bit better as a spot up shooter from a year ago. I feel like Ivy just needs the ball in his hands just a little bit more than. I'd rather see Ivy on like the Pistons or something, but if the Kings stay at 4, you just can't pass up on that kind of talent, especially in this year's draft. So if the bigs go top 3, it'd be fun. They definitely win a race. And then you have Davion Mitchell. That's just so much speed. That'd be the fastest trio in NBA history, maybe. I don't know. That's a really fast trio.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm hoping either the Pacers or the Pistons end up trading up to 4 just for the fit. Like, I like Tyrese Halliburton with Jaden Ivey or even Cade even better.
That'd be fun.
With Jaden Ivey. But I don't really love the fit too much, especially in the half court.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that's going to work. And the spacing, I don't like at all either. Because De'Aaron Fox is an inconsistent shooter. We got to see how Jaden Ivey's going to be on the next level of shooting. And you still have some Domantas Sabonis, too, that's most likely going to be their 5.
Right.
So I just don't love the fit. And it's Sacramento, too. So I wouldn't pray anybody to go to Sacramento. All right, moving on. We got Mark Williams and Mo Bamba.
I'm higher on Mark Williams.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mark Williams. Ooh. Mo Bamba, I remember coming in I remember they were saying that he had like an 8-foot wingspan and stuff like that. He was looking at potential shooter and things of that nature. But I think after what I've seen this season, I think I'm definitely higher on Mark Williams. I really like his game, especially at his size. After the measurements and things of that nature, I feel like his fluidity at his size is really crazy too. On top of everything, so I think I'm gonna lean towards Mark Williams, and he's way more efficient.
Yeah,
Mo Bamba.
I think I was pretty high on Mo Bamba if I recall. I'd probably go lean towards him. Because you still get the crazy length. He's not near as the same frame as what Mark Williams is. Mark Williams will probably a little bit more safer though to go that route. But I think the separator was kind of like Mo Bamba. I seen him as like a Rudy Gobert for jumper back then. Obviously, he hasn't lived up to really that, but I think the jump shot I was kind of a little too high on back then. I was like, oh man, like one of the best rim protectors and you could shoot. And I think I had him like top 5, maybe he was like 6 or something at the time. So I'd probably say I was higher on Mo Bamba as a prospect.
Yeah, I love Mark Williams, but I really did like Mo Bamba, like you said. I thought Rudy Gobert with the jump shot, even though he only shot at 28%, but I thought it was really intriguing. And he was the length was crazy with him.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And
he was solid athlete.
I think Mark Williams is more like a safer pick, but Mo Bamba just had the intriguing upside. So I'd probably say I was higher on Mo Bamba. All right, Jabari Smith and Jaren Jackson Jr.
I'm definitely Jabari Smith.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Jabari. I just think they kind of are the same player, low key, but I feel like all the things that both of them are good at, Jabari does better.
I'll go Jabari. I'll go Jabari too. He's one of the best top 2 shooting prospects I've ever seen at 6'10" or taller. Just the shot making ability at that size is pretty unreal. Even though he's kind of limited with his handle, but he didn't really matter. Most of his shots he's shooting over the person regardless, just because he's a high and quick release. Better shooter than Jaren Jackson. I like him a little bit more on the perimeter defending. I think Jaren Jackson's a better rim protector though, but I don't know. Jabari's just one of those guys you can put on any team, and he's just going to be able to play right away. And then he also has some upside. So I'll probably go Jabari.
Yeah.
I'll go Jabari too. Oh, you got it, Kimball. My bad.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say like I really didn't. I like Jaren Jackson's his like potential coming in, but definitely Jabari. Like the thing about Jaren Jackson, I didn't like. I really don't have a thing about guys who don't rebound like well, especially at his size. Like I feel like he could have definitely even now like he could be a way better rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how much, even though he was shooting, the shooting potential was there, but like he looked just like I guess I was judging his jump shot a little too much. I didn't know how much I trusted it in terms of some of his shot selection as well from like range. But like you said, like Jabari Smith as a shooter, definitely. I think for me, he's probably one of the in recent times probably the best shooter I've seen at that size. And I also I still believe that he has pretty good defensive potential as well. So just like that two-way ability moving forward, I think I'll trust that over Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Jabari because from the shooting and scoring, I think Jabari is definitely better on that aspect. The rim protection definitely leans toward Jaren Jackson, and the rebounding and the foul prone to Jaren Jackson. I think that's what kind of turned me off with him because he only played like 20 something minutes because he was in foul trouble every single game.
Right,
and that's one thing that really turned me off with him. And Jabari Smith, he's a dog to me. I feel like he could play on like any team and just fit. And just elevate that team. So I'll definitely go with him.
I got a question though. So like have you seen those comparisons people been talking about with Jabari Smith?
It's wild.
What'd you say, the comparisons?
Yeah, like I remember when the first one, like I heard it was when he's playing against Kentucky, I believe, and I think Jay Billis was covering it. Oh, he was like, yeah, Kevin Durant. I was like, I don't know. Yeah. That's wild.
They don't have the same off the dribble. KD can do way more off the dribble.
Yeah.
I don't see a KD at all, if I'm being honest. I think I compared him to a 6'10" version of Klay Thompson. I think that was my comparison, if I recall correctly. It was hard to come up with a comparison with Jabari. That was one of the hardest ones I've done. There's not many power forwards with that kind of shooting ability and perimeter defense.
Yeah. One of them I had was like a modern day version of Rashard Lewis.
I've heard that one. That's a good one too.
And also, he kind of reminds me a little bit like what Michael Porter was doing for Denver because he's not really dribbling as much as he kind of showed in high school from the shot creation size. And he's also 6'10", like shooter,
right?
Similar to Jabari. So, but Jabari is definitely a better defender than MPJ.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving on. We got Dyson Daniels and Tyrese Halliburton.
I'm taking Tyrese.
Yeah, me too.
I think I was way higher on Tyrese. The only thing that really like turned me off about him was his shot, but I was really impressed with his playmaking, his scoring, and I just think that overall he definitely coming in a better prospect than Dyson.
Yeah, I was on Tyrese too. Like I really like you said, the shot and the size and the playmaking as well. I've definitely bought into the shot, and like he really impressed me in that FIBA tournament. I think before the season started. Yeah, like that's when I really felt like, oh, okay, this guy, he looks good. So and they carried on to the season. So I was like, yeah, I think I have him over. And I was really angry that the Suns didn't take him, but I mean, I guess it all worked out in that.
Yeah, they definitely. I remember thinking that too. I think they took Jalen Smith too, which was a wild pick.
I said the same thing. Wild. Like I don't know.
I'll go Tyrese Halliburton. I think he'll project. He's more of like a true point guard with, he can actually do more off the dribble. I think Dyson, he's getting a little bit overrated with the pick. He could be he's probably going to be like a top 10, 9, 8 pick. I just see him as a role player. I don't know. There's a little too much hype going on with him, but I'd probably go Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's more advanced as a playmaker. I think he was proven as a better shooter despite, the odd mechanics. It still worked for him. I think he's a little bit more off the dribble too. But yeah, I'd probably comfortably go to Tyrese Halliburton over Dyson Daniels.
What position do you see Dyson Daniels playing? Do you think he's the actual one?
No. I don't think he has the handle or the burst or creativity to be a one. I think he's more of kind of like a secondary playmaker. I know the NBA teams are seeing him as a guy that can be like a Josh Giddey, but I don't think he doesn't have that same level of passing and creativity to me.
Yeah, I don't see the passing ability there. Defensively, I see him as like a really good versatile one though.
Yeah,
probably up to like 3 spots.
Yeah, I think he'll be a great role player, but usually with that pick 4 through 8, you kind of want to. I don't know. You kind of want to reach for like a star or something. I don't think he'll ever be that kind of guy. I couldn't be wrong, but I don't know. I just don't see the hype of him being a top 8 pick.
Yeah. What's your favorite fits for Dyson Daniels?
I mean, probably the Pelicans, to be honest. I mean, even though it's like the 8th pick, I believe, I do like that fit a lot. With what they're building on, you already have your scores with Zion, B.I., C.J. McCollum. It'll give them some defense and a secondary ball handler. If the shot comes around, then it's just a match made in heaven. I'd like that. I'd like that fit on the Pelicans. I'm trying to think of who else. Knicks would be all right, depending on how they used them. Maybe somewhere like the Hornets. I don't know what they plan on doing with. I know he won't fall that far, but depending on how they plan going on forward with LaMelo and Terry Rozier, but probably where he's projected, probably the Pelicans.
Yeah, I like the Pelicans because he could kind of like fit the role Lonzo was kind of playing with the roster. Because I feel like they're like a little bit similar players. Even though Lonzo right now is definitely a better shooter, but I feel like he could kind of get into that similar type of role.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
All right, moving on. We got Jeremy Suhan and Chuma Okeke.
Jeremy Suhan for me.
Yeah, I'm
gonna go Jeremy Suhan.
Jeremy Suhan for me.
With Suhan, I think I have him at ranked 11 right now. His defense is just awesome. Good playmaker, good finisher of the rim. I believe that I buy the shot too long term. I really do. Even though he shot like I think high 20s from 30, 28 or something like that.
Form didn't look bad, and he didn't really shoot it at all.
Yeah, form looked fine to me. I think touches is a little inconsistent right now, but if he can just become a respectable shooter from the outside, I mean, he's easily one of my favorite players in the class.
Yeah, I love Jeremy Suhan's game. I remember like watching Baylor early on in the season. I was mostly looking at Kendall Brown, and then I was like watching Jeremy Suhan because he was mostly jumping off the screen to me.
Yeah,
it's like impact and
Kendall
Brown just like he floated a lot too. Like you didn't really notice him in games, but you always notice what Jeremy Suhan was doing.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Kendall Brown, there's some issues I have with him. I think I have him out of my first round right now.
I'm not high on Kendall Brown.
Just the handle. I just don't know what his role will be in the NBA. Like the shot, even though he shot like 34, I just don't buy the shot long term. His handles, like he's like one of the worst handles out amongst all wings in the draft. He's not gonna. I don't think I'll ever see him being a star as a role player. I just don't know. He doesn't have the frame or anything, the strength to really play the 4 or a small ball 5. And I don't buy the shooting long term. The handle, it's hard for him to create. I just don't really see it fully in him.
Yeah, the only thing I see that really translates in this game is his athleticism.
Oh yeah. He's probably one of the better athletes in the draft for sure.
But like towards the end of the season, he didn't really look too good, especially in that the last game that he played against North Carolina. They made that comeback when he was on.
Yeah, they moved him to the bench.
Yeah. All right, EJ Liddell and PJ Washington.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go PJ.
I'll go EJ Liddell.
Yeah, I want to go EJ as well.
I like EJ Liddell a little bit more better on the defensive end. I think PJ is probably more higher on offensively, but I think the defense kind of separates me of EJ Liddell.
Ooh,
Yeah, I do agree with defense. I think I'm going to go PJ, yeah. Maybe it's my Kentucky bias. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm going to go PJ. I did like his, like you said, his offensive game, his shooting at his size. Mm-hmm. The defense, that was definitely something that could be worked upon. EJ Liddell definitely brings like that dog factor. But PJ Washington is also, I think he was pretty good as well. I think he played well in the big moments too, at times for Kentucky. So, yeah, I'm going to go PJ Washington. I really bought into the shooting at the size.
Yeah, he improved a ton from his freshman year too. Freshman and sophomore, he was the PJ jump. I think is what the Kentucky fans call it. He shot like 28% his first year. And I think the next year he was lights out. He was automatic through his second year.
Yeah, 42.
Yeah, 42.
Yeah, it was not. It's very rare players make that big of a jumps, but he just made everything. His form was pretty beautiful. The free throw was a little inconsistent. I think what was it? No, it was the year before. Never mind. I remember the year before that. I think he shot like 8 for 20 against Kansas State on the free throw line.
God
damn.
That
was rough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with PJ Washington a little bit slight edge because I like his offense ability. I feel like they're kind of like a little bit similar, like prospects.
I agree.
Aren't they like around like the same size, 6'7", 6'8" ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Kind of similar numbers as well.
Yeah. EJ Liddell is definitely like the better rim protector and shot blocker though, but I think it's really close. But I'll stick with PJ. We got Christian Brown and Dante DiVincenzo.
I'm higher on Christian Brown.
Yeah,
I said this yesterday because we talked about Kansas a little bit. And I just think that he does a lot of everything. Like he's not great in one aspect. He just does everything good. So whenever you see him, like sometimes his stats will be like 9 points, but he'll have like 6 rebounds, 7 assists, like something like that. So he's always filling the stat sheet and he's always very useful.
Yeah.
And he has like, I was say he's another guy with that dog factor. Like I really like that. Like he plays with like his heart on the floor, and I definitely was. Dante DiVincenzo, he was really good. I think I was definitely sleeping on him around that time. Like I was definitely sleeping on Dante DiVincenzo, but I think I do like Christian Braun's potential as a role player moving forward as well. Like even like the Dante DiVincenzo, I think he could do that, and I really like his rebounding at his side, at his position too as well, and his efficiency. So I'll go Christian Brown, and he's a pretty solid athlete as well.
Yeah, I'll go Christian Brown too. He doesn't really have one elite skill. Maybe I guess his motor and defense, but the lack of length is a little concerning. But he just does everything so good, or not so good, but he does everything good on offense. Like he is an elite shooter, but he's good enough, good passer, good finisher and slasher with his right hand. He's a good athlete. Yeah, I'll lean more towards Christian Brown.
Yeah, I agree. I think both guys like made winning plays. Well, both national champions too.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna give a slight edge to Christian Brown because I wasn't the biggest DiVincenzo fan, but I just love Christian Brown and like the energy that he brought for Kansas.
Yeah, he was huge for that Kansas run this year, or this past season, I should say.
All right, MarJon Beauchamp and Keon Johnson.
I'm going Beauchamp.
Yeah, I was not really high on Keon Johnson. I don't know. Both of the guys are Tennessee. They're freshmen. I don't think I was really that high on them. Keon Johnson, his athleticism was like remarkable too, but Beauchamp's full court ability, like just going on the court, and his defensive potential as well. And I think he's fairly efficient, not the best shooter, but I think I buy into his ability on the defensive side of the ball as well as just like I said, just putting pressure on the rim and just full court ability. I really like that from MarJon Beauchamp.
Yeah, I'll go same with you. I'd probably lean more towards MarJon Beauchamp. A little bit longer too. I think I buy the shot from three a little bit long term. A little bit more versatile defensively. He's a great finisher around the rim. He's not obviously the same athlete as Keon Johnson is. But if that jumper comes around, he's kind of like a Mikal Bridges in my eyes.
I like that comparison.
Yeah, I like MarJon. Where's his like draft stock at right now?
Probably around like pick 24 to early second round, probably around there. So like I guess late first, early second.
That could be a little steal right there.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like if Brooklyn kept their pick, I think I would have liked them for Brooklyn.
There is a chance that the Denver Nuggets might take a swing at him. I think they're picking at 21 to 20. That's
also another good one because he's a really good cutter too. So I think him playing off Jokic would just be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got Blake Wesley and Lonnie Walker next up.
Ooh. Blake Wesley. Yeah. I like Blake Wesley. Yeah, I think I'll go Blake Wesley. Lonnie Walker was a remarkable athlete. I ain't gonna lie. He's a really remarkable athlete. He came out as a freshman, Lonnie Walker?
Yeah.
Lonnie Walker, yeah. I remember seeing I didn't think he was gonna be like a one and done type of guy, but yeah, I'll go Blake Wesley. I like his ability, I like his playmaking potential and his also his scoring potential. He wasn't as efficient, but I think he's has potential as a scorer and in the pick and roll as well, playmaking wise. And yeah, I think I'll trust Blake Wesley. I'll take him.
Yeah, I'll go Blake Wesley too. I think I trust his scoring upside way more. Elite burst, he's really bursty off the dribble. Could score from the mid range. 3-point shot isn't quite there yet, and he struggled really bad finishing at the rim, despite his kind of athletic abilities and flashes he's shown. He'll be a little bit raw. He'll probably struggle early on for the first 2 seasons, but the upside, I think I compare him to like a taller version of Colin Sexton if he reaches the ceiling.
I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Blake Wesley too. He showed like a lot of flashes during the season. I remember like the first time I really noticed him when he had that game winner against Kentucky, and he had a lot of big shots for Notre Dame this season. You know I was gonna bring that up, but he had a lot of big shots for Notre Dame this season, and he definitely needs to improve on finishing at the basket. But I think long-term wise, I think he's going to be pretty good. And I like his defense too.
Yeah. Not many young scoring guards like that compete like him on the defensive end. That's kind of what makes me a little bit higher on him than some of the other guards. Like I'm a little bit higher on him than like Bryce McGowan, Jaden Hardy, guys like that.
How high could you see Blake Wesley going in the draft?
Probably like right outside the lottery. I don't think he'll go lottery. Maybe a team like unless the Hornets take a swing on him, he's probably going like mid first, late first. Probably so high as probably maybe the Cavs. No, probably not the Cavs at 14. So probably like 16, 15 range, and then
I'm about to say, how about Atlanta?
Atlanta, I'd like that a lot. Put him next to Trey. He'd probably need an extra year or two before he's ready to compete in the playoffs. But if you look at that long term, that's a lethal backcourt right there. I'd like that.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, moving on. We got Tari Eason and Patrick Williams.
Patrick Williams. I think he's a little bit younger, and also just a passing ability. I think it was a little bit more there. I think he showed more in the pick and roll, and I think the passing fly, the better shooter too. I think he's far better as a shooter in college and stuff. I think I had Patrick Williams top 10. I'm not as high on Tari Eason as some other scouts. I think the defense is good and the upside's there, but I think sometimes I know it was part of their defensive scheme was to kind of like pressure and kind of just play off your instincts. But he had a little too many lapses for me. Maybe it's just because of the system both the teams were in that made me a little bit higher on Patrick Williams, but I definitely lean more towards Pat.
Yeah, I'll give it a slight edge to Pat Williams too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Pat Williams.
I buy him like being like a little bit better scorer and a shot creator, and the shot also too. Because Tari Eason, his form is a little bit weird.
Yeah,
and I don't know how much that's going to translate. And also, Patrick Williams is like one of the youngest players in the draft.
Yeah.
I
think
he kind of came out of nowhere.
American player.
Yeah, he did come out of nowhere too.
Yeah, Patrick Williams.
Yeah, because he jumped late in the process on draft boards. Like he wasn't really projected to ever be a 4th pick, I think is what he was. I think he was always projected like late lottery, mid first, and then Bulls took a swing on him. And I know at the time a lot of people didn't like the pick, but I didn't really fully mind it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I thought it was kind of a solid pick. And obviously he had an injury this year that kind of set him back, and then signed DeMar DeRozan kind of will set him back a little bit more. But I still think he'll be a great NBA player.
I agree.
Yeah, I do like Patrick Williams. I think he was like a 4-star as well coming out of high school. I don't think he was like too high in the rankings.
Yeah, I can't remember much of his high school film at all.
Yeah, I didn't hear about him until like late.
Yeah, it was late. It was definitely late. I ain't gonna lie, because I heard about him like probably around the same time you did, if not later.
All right, next we got Ochai Agbaji and Chris Duarte.
I'm taking Chris Duarte.
Yeah, I'm going Chris Duarte.
One of the lowest guys one of the guys I'm lowest on in the draft is Agbaji.
Agbaji?
Yeah.
Same. I'll go Chris Duarte. I think he's a little bit more off the dribble than Agbaji. I trust his movement shooting a little bit more. Better off-ball defender. Agbaji, I don't know. He's a great call. I think he'll be a good role player in the NBA. He's obviously a national champion. Improved his shooting every single year, but just the lack of a handle. Off-ball defense is pretty bad for a senior, and it's just going to be off-ball defense only gets harder in the NBA. I hope he can improve there, but and then I think Duarte is a little bit of a better passer.
Yeah, I agree with Chris Duarte. I was like, well, Agbaji, like, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't like it was some parts of like the process where some guys had him like almost like Ron Lottery-ish, but like I just didn't really buy into it. I just didn't feel like he was that type of guy. Like I don't know.
agree.
I definitely bought into Chris Duarte more. I think he was less consistent. They were both consistent, but Chris Duarte, I think I would be more trustworthy over him throughout the whole season. Like when they were both in college, and I really did like him as a prospect, even though his age. But I did believe he would come in, and he was one of those guys that could come in and just like contribute right away. So
I think even with them two, I don't think age is really that much of a factor because like they're both coming in
Seniors.
old.
yeah.
How old is Chris Duarte? Like 24?
Yeah,
Yeah,
24 is crazy.
One of the
I ain't gonna
rookies I've
lie.
ever seen.
Did y'all hear about DeAndre Williams from
Yeah,
Memphis?
he'll be
He's
26.
That's
Go older than
ridiculous,
Devin
bro.
Booker.
Get a career,
Yeah,
guy.
that's wild. He'll be out of his prime in 4 years. He ain't even started.
That's ridiculous.
He ain't been in the NBA yet.
He better have got 2 degrees if he's still there. So
Word.
He's about to be Dr. Williams by the time he's done.
probably got wife and kids and everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll go with Chris Dorsey. I think Chris Dorsey is basically I think he's better than Vachi at almost every single aspect. The shooting, defensively, the ball handling especially. I think Abaji's like a really shaky ball handler to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I feel like somebody he don't really bring it like all the time. Abaji. I don't know. No, I feel like sometimes like Abaji, like he doesn't really like bring it at times.
I kind of agree with that because there was times where because I watched a lot of Kansas this year, and there's some times where he was just like, although he's like the main guy, he wasn't like acting like the main guy.
Yeah, there would be stretches where he kind of would just kind of like
disappear.
Hide in the shadows, just would kind of just go with the flow and wouldn't really make himself be assertive with the ball or anything. That's kind of like one of my more concerns why I don't think he'll be much more than a role player in the NBA.
Yeah. Oh, he did hoop in that game that we went to at Kansas.
He did.
Champions Classic.
He definitely did hoop that game.
Against Michigan State, I think it was this year.
Yeah.
He definitely did hoop that game, but it's just like way too many times I feel like I see him like
disappear.
Yeah, and maybe it's because of how he's getting played. Like when you're the number one guy, you're probably getting like a lot of different schemes, but if you're the number one guy, you gotta play through that.
Oh, was it Kentucky that locked him up?
Yeah, he struggled. I don't think he scored in the first half.
I remember he was terrible. And
I remember that.
That was a wild game. Keon Brooks went off that game.
He was at everything.
Yeah, because they came to their place and won by like 20 or something like that, right?
Yeah. I don't think we even. I don't think they were leading. Like at any point in the game, maybe like a little bit, but most of we was really controlling that game the whole time.
Yeah, that was insane. All right, Trevor Keels and Jaden Springer.
I'm taking Trevor Keels.
Jaden Springer, like I did early on. I was a fan of Jaden Springer. I was watching the IMG. Like I thought he would be pretty tough, but like I was looking at him like okay, he has like a nice frame to him. Even though he's not like the biggest guy, but he has a solid, like strong frame to him. But like looking at the shooting, he shot like high from the three ball. I was like, he didn't really attempt it as like a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of after I started noticing that, I was like, I'm gonna just like fall a little bit back on it. And then towards the end of the season, I think his stock started to drop a little bit as well. So, but I like Trevor Keels, definitely his potential. His ceiling, I'd buy it higher than
Jaden Springer.
What's the name? Yeah, Jaden Springer. Yeah.
I think for me, honestly, I think I was probably a little bit too high on Springer back in last season. I think I had him right in like ring 14. So probably preseason I was higher on Jaden Springer. I think it was just even though it was low volume of threes, I was just kind of high on his shot. High IQ player. He's a great perimeter defender, but looking back at it now, I probably would have had him a little bit lower. Because of Trevor Keels, I mean, he's just his frame. He's built like a linebacker. And I trust the shot long term because in high school the shooting was there. Because I think he'll be able to develop to a way more efficient scorer at the next level. He made me wait for a long time. Everyone wait for a long time was a decision yesterday, but
had me upset.
Came injured, Timmy. But I still like Keels. I think I have a first round grade on him. Because he'll bring it defensively. It kind of reminds me a little bit better scoring Lou Dort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has like a little bit better playmaking than
Oh,
Jaden
yeah,
Springer too.
right.
And one thing I noticed with Jaden Springer, like he always played off 2 feet.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of stiff. Like,
Yeah, he was
A little
he was
too
stiff to
much.
me, too. All right, we got a couple more. The next one is Wendell Moore and Josh Green.
I'm not gonna lie. See,
I'm gonna go.
I was high on Josh Green for a little.
yeah, I
bit,
was
bro.
coming to high school. I was high. I think I was
Especially, especially coming out of high school, I thought like he was gonna be him, and then he paired up with Nico Mannion, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be something different.
Yeah.
So, damn, it's hard. I'm gonna go Wendell Moore.
I'm not really high on either or, but I'd probably go Wendell Moore. He improved as a shooter from last year. I think the shooting's a little bit more viable. He brings some passing, secondary playmaking, good defender. It's close, but I'll probably lean towards Wendell.
Yeah.
I'll go Wendell as well. Yeah. I remember like early on in the season when the way he was playing, like I think I was like liking him a little bit to like the Evan Turner type of guy. Like he was just doing a little bit all. Don't know how good of a shooter he was going to be, but he really was shooting it and playing solid defense as well. So yeah, I think I'm higher on him than Josh Green. I think he kind of disappointed me a little bit, Josh Green.
I'll go Wendell Moore. I think he's gonna be like a really solid role player in the league. As someone just like a jack of all trades that could do a little bit of everything. And Josh Green, I liked him coming into the season at Arizona, but it was a little up and down for me. So I'll stick with Wendell Moore. All right, next players we could talk about is Ousmane Dieng and Jaden McDaniels.
I'm gonna take Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, I want to take Jaden McDaniels. He's one of those guys that kind of fell under that KD kind of misconception. But coming into college, he did have his struggles because he wasn't like that, like out on ball with that ball handler type of guy to get his stuff. But he showed like a lot of flashes, I believe. And man, Ousmane Dieng, I don't know. Like I liked him early on, but I feel like I just have to see him a lot more. But coming in, I was higher on Jaden McDaniels. I like his defensive improvements as well that he's made in the league. So,
I'll probably go Dieng. He struggled a little bit with efficiency and scoring the ball in the NBL, which is a pretty physical league, and he's kind of more of a skinnier guy. So struggled with that, but he always brought it defensively. And I think he's a little bit more advanced as a playmaker with the ball in his hands. I don't think he's as good as a scorer yet as McDaniels. I think McDaniels in college was like way better as a scorer. Dieng showed some flashes of shot making ability, and he operated a lot in the pick and rolls here. But he was like on the worst the worst team in the NBL. Like they were really, really bad. Peyton Siva was hard to watch again. I don't watch him stuff a little. Yeah, he was a point guard.
Whoa.
But yeah, I'll probably go Dieng.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dieng too. I think the playmaking stands out to me, his defense, and I wasn't a big Jaden McDaniels guy, but Ousmane Dieng in the beginning of the season, I thought he wasn't gonna get drafted like the way he played. His first 10 games, like it was rough. It was really rough. It was the worst shooting splits I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was 20% from the field. I can't recall, but it was next level bad. If he kept it up, he definitely would have been drafted this year. But second half of the season was a completely different story, thankfully.
Yeah. I saw him like start to rise up a little bit. I think around like March time. I'm like, damn, what the hell happened to him?
Yeah.
And I was like, what was he doing? So I went back and watched a little bit, and the shot looked a little bit better, and the playmaking was what really stood out to me. So I think I'll go Ousmane Dieng from that aspect.
Yeah, I think a big problem too when I was watching the early season games is I was being on the worst team, and he was kind of asked to do a little bit too much to start. I feel like they're expecting a little bit too much of like an 18-year-old. And then obviously he just started adjusting, getting more used to the physicality, and the offense slowly came along. It's kind of similar to LaMelo, if I recall. LaMelo struggled really bad in the start of the season for the Hawks. Yeah, and then second season he just looked like second half of the season he looked like an absolute superstar.
All right, moving on. We got Malachi Branham and Tyler Hero.
I'm gonna take Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I was high on Tyler Hero.
I was really high on him as well, especially coming in.
Yeah, I'll go Tyler Hero. I think he's a little bit more with his handle and a little bit more juice off the dribble. Brandon probably has a little bit more upside as a defender, even though they're probably the same defender, the same stage right now, or whenever they were both in college. But Hero, he never lacks confidence. He's a great shooter. He's not afraid to take the big shots, can come off screens, can create. He's improved a ton as a passer too in the NBA, which I've been impressed with.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hero too. I guess we're all in agreement. All right, Jalen Duren and Wendell Carter Jr.
I think personally, I was kind of lower on Wendell. So I'd probably say I'm higher on Jalen Duren. Just a physical profile, elite rim protector, good short roll passer. He's going to be a lot through the jumper. I'm not sure he'll ever develop that, but if I'm going right now, I'd probably go Wendell though. From what I've seen in the NBA, Wendell was way better than I anticipated, to be honest. But nice. I was probably higher on Jalen Duren preseason or pre-draft.
I'm gonna go Wendell, and I thought he was like a baby Al Horford in a sense, like the rim protection, a little bit of a stretch big, and I think he was like a little bit better rebounder than what Al Horford was, and he was just like a great fit with Marvin Bagley to clean up for his mistakes. Really,
agreed.
And he showed like a little bit of passing flashes too. So I'm gonna go with him.
I think I'm gonna go with Duren. Yeah, I did like Jalen Duren coming in. Wendell Carter, I don't know. I did like Wendell Carter a lot, but I think just more of I really like Jalen Duren's potential as a playmaker. I still think he could be a pretty decent playmaker, and he's a really solid. I think he's still a solid athlete. Not like a crazy athlete, but I think he's a really pretty decent athlete as well. And also, man, about Wendell Carter, I really thought him and I really hoped him and Mo Bamba had went to Harvard together. I remember that was almost a thing.
Oh yeah, that was a thing at one point.
That would have been wild.
That would have been insane for the Ivy League.
Yeah, I was about to say,
that's unfair. Just thinking about it.
They would have been punching everything, bro.
Two of the best rim protectors in the class, like.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
They both could like stretch a little bit. That would be crazy.
One thing with Jalen Duren, I wish he played with the actual point guard.
Point guard, yeah.
Right. I know the Penny Hardaway's pitch was Kobe and Shaq, and it was very unrealistic. I don't think they tried putting early on at least they tried putting Bates kind of as a lead ball handler, and it just didn't work out. And then they just have a true guy. Like if you would have put Duren on, like I don't know, swap him and like Chet Holmgren, and Duren would have just with him having Nembhard and Hickman. I think Duren would have looked a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. And the Monty Bates experience.
I was about to. Yeah.
Once I heard he was going to play point guard, I'm like, what is going on?
I was like, hell no, nah.
Yeah, it's not really his game.
What do you think about Monty Bates moving forward? Like, I've just seen a mock draft, somebody had him in the second round, and I was like, oh man, his stock was crazy, like down. What do you think about him moving forward?
Like, I don't think obviously he's going to be what he was hyped up in 8th grade or freshman year. That's like a KD guy. I still think he could be a good NBA player. I still think he can carve out a role somewhere like Tyler Hero or anything, because his shooting ability and shot making ability is still pretty elite. He'll have his limitations athletically. I think he's like a negative wingspan, if I recall. I think it's like 6'7".
Yeah.
He just needs to find the right fit. Go somewhere where there's an elite point guard he can play with. I think he really needs a good point guard to play with to kind of help set him up a little bit more. He's also very young. He reclassified. He's just kind of trying to get used to the college game. So I expected some struggles early on. But if he just finds the right fit, I mean, he can get himself back into the lottery pick. He's probably more looking like a late first round pick right now in next year in a loaded draft class. But if he can find the right fit, get back on track, I think he can sneak back up into like the late lottery.
Is there a deadline for like where transfers have to commit somewhere?
No. He can do it at any time. There's a deadline to where you have to tell the team you're transferring, but because at the end of the day, he don't have to transfer any school. He can just quit playing basketball. But like that guys can roll late and stuff. But I don't know. We should expect an announcement by July of where he's going, if not before.
Yeah, hopefully it's soon. His list was like Louisville, Michigan. What else?
Michigan. I think it was like a lower school. I forgot what it was.
Was it Eastern Michigan?
Eastern Michigan.
I think Eastern Michigan. Yeah, that's what it was. I think Louisville should be. I think Kenny Payne would do pretty well with him.
Mm-hmm. Kenny Payne's he'll be a great coach for Louisville.
Yeah.
All right, the last two we got Dalen Terry and Troy Brown Jr.
I'll go Dalen Terry. I wasn't too high on Troy Brown Jr.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Dalen. Yeah, I'm going Dalen.
Yeah.
Of Dalen, he's just a great guy. When I was watching his interview with Mike Schmitz on the combine, he asked him a question or something, and he gave it an answer with so much confidence. It was something about like his questions about shooting, and he was like, "Well, I shot like 40% from three in the set or something like that in the second half season." So you tell me. Now you can just tell he has all the confidence in the world.
Yeah.
Great defender. He's really good at finding cutters and passing the ball. Athletic, 7'1" wingspan. He might sneak into the first round.
I think at this point, I've been seeing his name a lot. I think at this point, he probably is going to sneak into the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could go higher than people like initially thought. I'm really high on Dalen Terry. Troy Brown, I really think like it was a lot of it was like a lot of different Troy Browns. I feel like in terms of just like positionally wise, because I think he really had to find what position he really was. Because I remember like in high school, he was like the number one point guard. Then he moved to in college, he transitioned to like the 3, the 2, like the wing basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really high on. I think I like Dalen Terry a lot. Over the years, I always talk about it on the pod. Like I'm really high on Dalen Terry. It's just like everything he does at his size, and I feel like he does kind of a little bit of everything, and brings like a lot of intensity and high IQ too. So
yeah, I know there was one scout. He actually thinks Dalen Terry was the best prospect on Arizona this year. I think he said that back in January, if I recall. I don't know if I agree with that. I could see him being because I just feel like Ben Mathurin better than him as a prospect. But I think
in the long run happening.
Right,
yeah, there's definitely a world that Dalen Terry could be better than Ben Mathurin.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think as right now, Ben Mathurin is a better prospect.
Yeah.
But I just like everything that Dalen Terry brings to the table. He's just someone that you want on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like everything that he brings, like the energy is just infectious. Like the game that against TCU, how he was guarding Mike Miles that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I think I just love his game so much. Like he's someone that I'll definitely bet on.
And he still has a lot of potential to grow. Like as far as the score is going, like I feel like he has like a way bigger ceiling than people expect on the score.
If he came back next year, he could have looked like way better than he does. But
I agree. He'd had a bigger role.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be because he had Ben Mathurin who was scoring the ball. He definitely would have had kind of would have filled the shoes of Mathurin while also doing what he already does this year. So I think he could, if he came back, he probably could have been a water pick next year. So I know scouts are he was starting to gain some steam already. So if he came back for another year, build on that because he improved a ton from his freshman year. He got more playing time. New head coach also helped.
Yeah. All right. That's the last one. I wanted to get this guy on here. So I don't know how good this comparison is. It's Jalen Williams and Sadiq Bey. And Jalen Williams out of Santa Clara.
Yeah. I was kind of
Sadiq. Yeah, I like Sadiq Bey. I really like his confidence. Like that was I think when we did that scouting report, the pre-draft of that draft, I think my thing was like one of the things like he was like a really kind of like confident in his approach. I really like that. And he was a pretty good shooter, good size. And yeah, I think I definitely like Sadiq Bey. Jalen Williams kind of like he kind of rose. I found about him late. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't really knowing much about Jalen Williams until like kind of during the end of the year and into the draft process. But yeah, I would lean towards Sadiq Bey. I really like Sadiq Bey as a prospect.
I remember watching Sadiq Bey play. I think they played Seton Hall, and he was frying. So like seeing that in person, I was like, yeah, he's like that.
It's close. I'm kind of in the same range. I'd probably say Jalen Williams, just because he had a little bit more off the dribble, better playmaker, way better in the pick and roll. But I can make a case for both because Sadiq, I knew Sadiq would fit as like a 3D guy, but he's done much more offensively for me because I think he dropped. Was it this year he dropped a 50-point game?
Yeah.
Orlando.
Early in the year, yeah. Like So I can make a case for either or. It's really close, but I'd probably lean more towards Jalen right now.
Yeah, I'll give the slight edge to Sadiq though, but I do like the off the dribble that Jalen Williams possesses and a little bit in pick and roll game.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you see Jalen Williams falling in the draft? I've seen that he could go high as like late lottery.
I heard from what I've heard, he's probably going to go anywhere from 13 to 20. I don't think he'll fall past. I don't think he'll fall 21. Because he was kind of got in the scene late, like in January is when he really started getting scouts' attentions, and then kept building on that. Then at the combine, he measured with a 7'2" wingspan, which would be the longest in NBA amongst all guards. And in the combine, he was efficient, making winning plays. He played both combine games, which I know front offices liked. So I could see him ended up being up a lottery pick. It's not a guarantee. There's probably more likely to drop outside of the lottery, but it wouldn't be too far out of the lottery.
I would like him in Cleveland. I think
there's a chance that really happens. There, I heard Atlanta. I know if he fell to Denver, there's no chance they'd pass up on him.
That's another great fit. All right, that's it for the prospects that we're comparing. But there's one that we haven't talked about who is projected to be a top 10 one, and that's Shaedon Sharpe. So I want to hear your thoughts on Shaedon because I'm a little bit torn in between with them.
And wait, before you even say anything, I just want to add that, like, for me, I'm confused as to like where the hype is coming from and like what film or anything, like what are they seeing that I'm not seeing?
So the only thing I've been able to watch was his Nike EYBL film, which has about 12 games on there. I watched some of his high school games earlier. I think I've seen him play against Mikey Williams. And then mostly all my film, though, recently I was watching his AAU film. And some other people probably have harder access to it because they don't have like the access and synergy. But with him, I don't know, he's kind of unique. He's an elite shot maker. Like he has an effortless shooting stroke. He's a great vertical athlete. I think my concerns with him, though, I know like there's different parts of athleticism. Sometimes you get like he jumps high. He's like his elite vertical jump off 2 feet. But he's not really bursty. He's not too quick. He's not going to blow by guys off the dribble. His handle's a little shaky too, which is really concerning for a projected top guard that's supposed to be be a shot maker off the dribble. If he can't create his own space consistently with that handle, so he'll definitely develop a handle. Lack of burst and the lack of a handle is just like the real big concern for me. And he's like young. It was AAU, so he's going to be lazy on defense. I don't see him as. I think every single 24/7 ESPN rival, I think they all had him one, if I recall, before he decided to enroll at Kentucky early.
Yeah.
Or later
he
on.
was consensus.
I think he'll go anywhere between like pick the Kings at 4 to like he won't fall past Portland at 7 if they stay there. Because I know that Cronin likes to be a little bit of a risk taker. And so if Shaedon's there, that's a risk. It's a pretty big risk.
They took Anthony Simons too, right?
Yeah, they took him.
Yeah, they take a lot of high school guys.
Yeah,
throughout the years.
So there's almost I don't know. I can't see any scenario he falls past Portland unless like team workouts is important too, especially for Shaedon because he didn't play in the scrimmages, which is smart of him because we saw Leonard Miller play, and now Leonard Miller is just scared away a lot of teams. Showing how raw he is, and then with Shaedon, he elected to not play in that. I think he measured. I don't think he did. I don't think he did athletic testing. So team workouts will be important for him as far as his stock goes. For me, I'm probably a little bit lower on him. I think I have him like 8 or 7 right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think I personally couldn't make a case for him over Ivy, Jabari, Paul, or Chet. AJ Griffin, I even like more of them. I like Johnny Davis a little bit more than him. So he's probably around like the 7 range for me. But there's some real concerns. He's probably going to be inefficient for his first year or two, which is okay because he's hasn't played like 5-on-5 basketball, like actual meaningful games since I don't even remember when. I think earlier of it would be like a year from when he played steps first on the NBA court.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I feel like it's really tough for me because we haven't seen him play in like so long. And we could look at like the guys that were projected to be top 10 picks going into the season, like the Patrick Baldwins, the Jaden Hardys, the Peyton Watsons, and like how they looked after playing and seeing actual film on them like in college.
Right.
It was different. So it's hard for me with Shaden Sharp and like the things that you said with the handles and what I noticed, like the athleticism didn't really pop as much in the half court. And he's not like the athlete of like the previous drafts, so like the Jalen Green, Anthony Edwards.
100%. Yeah.
So that's the biggest concerns with me is Shaden Sharp. So I don't know how comfortable I am with taking him, but it's different because they're going to work him out and actually see him in person and stuff like that.
Yeah, because whenever I was watching the AU film, he settles a ton for the side step jumpers, step back jumpers, way too much. And given his vertical pop, you would expect him to be a little bit more aggressive attacking, but that's when sometimes he couldn't get to his spots because of the lack of handle and burst. So maybe it's improved because like I said, we haven't been able to watch, and like he may have improved it, but we don't really know because I'm not going to really be able to judge it off of him just doing dribbling drills and a 1-on-0 setting. So he's a mystery prospect for sure. It's tough to kind of like, rank him with these other guys. Like if someone made a good point. If Jaden Hardy did the same thing Shaden Sharp did, Jaden Hardy's probably a top 10 pick, but now he's kind of probably like a late first with a slim chance, and not even a slim chance, of a reasonable chance to drop to the second round, where if, say, Shaden was thrown into the fire February and played bad, then we might be hearing the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Damn, man. I honestly hope that he turns out good, but I just like it.
Same.
It's way too many question marks for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasonable question marks for him. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up, what team takes a chance on him. Because, like I said, like per 40 minutes in the UIBL, he averaged 33 a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. But yeah, EYBL, like within 12 games, small sample size for him compared to what we've seen some of these other guys. So
you always got to take AAU stats for like a grain of salt because those are very, very, very like confusing sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he could either be like a Zach LaVine or a J.R. Smith.
I can see that happening too.
J.R. Smith, I like that comparison a lot.
Yeah, or even like maybe like a Gerald Green.
Yeah, it was kind of similar to Gerald Green, another like high school guy who he was supposed to go like way higher than he was. He fell. Looking back at it, he definitely fell in terms of like what he was supposed to be. So that could be something he could be.
Want me to take it over?
Yeah. Actually, I got one more question. When did you like start getting into the draft?
So, I didn't make my page until 2019, or start my brand until 2019. So I personally when I was like a kid with like Draft Express and stuff, I remember always coming home like every day from school and just looking at, their mock draft or like some video they posted with like when it was Mike Schmidt and Jonathan Givony when they weren't with ESPN. So they kind of got me into the draft. What made me start my own like personal brand was I remember sophomore year I was on JV and I wasn't even asked to do it. I remember I watched one of the teams who haven't played yet. I remember watching the off on a huddle. I watched the high school film on them or whatever. And I remember doing scouting reports on them. I remember I showed the coaches and then I just started doing that every game. And then junior year I was on varsity, so I couldn't really do it. I just watched the film like everyone else. And then senior year I fractured my my left hand. So I missed, I think, a little bit over half the season. And then that's when I was doing it really a ton then. Then right after season ended, I started my own brand. So I guess basically I've been, since I was in like middle school, I've been into the draft, but I never really pursued like the draft stuff until after I finished up my senior season of high school or senior season of basketball.
That's a pretty good story.
And where are you from?
I'm from Indiana.
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 Right across the river from Louisville.
Okay.
Oh.
So you in basketball state too, so he's
So
probably
you could-
surrounded by
You
that.
could be familiar with DJ Wagner or Jersey.
Yeah. He'll probably end up in Louisville. They just hired his
His
can't remember.
grandfather.
grandfather, I think. Yeah, I heard a rumor that Kentucky might try hiring his dad
He's
now
the
or
one.
something.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So
He about to go family member for family.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already got. I think we got his brother. I think, and his brother's friend or some shit, something like that.
I have his brother's friend.
Something like that. I know his brother is like a walk on.
He's
So,
worth
like,
it. He's legit.
Yeah,
DJ Wagner's legit.
Yeah, he is. I watched him play against, who were they playing? I think it might have been Roosevelt Catholic they were playing.
Hmm.
No, it wasn't against Roosevelt. It was against
LeBron?
St. Benedict's. They were going up against Mark Armstrong.
Oh yeah. I remember you told me about that
DJ
game.
Wagner,
We watched
he's
that
tough.
game. Yeah.
He's tough.
That him is like even more space. I like the guy. I kind of like see him as kind of looking like sort of like Tyrese Maxey is.
Mm.
I see him something like that.
Tyrese Maxey, I liked him at Kentucky. I think I had him top 10. His touch is unreal on the floaters. and
Ridiculous.
layups.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, unreal touch. Even when he was shooting, I think like 20-some% at three at Kentucky, I just knew he would develop it. Like his touch was way too elite for him to not develop a 3-point jumper.
Yeah. I remember the first game for Tyrese Maxey. I think they played Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like,
looked like a
he's tough.
superstar.
Yeah, I was like,
a
he's top 10.
superstar.
Man, I don't even want to see him
like
in March Madness. Man.
He had like a 30-foot bomb to put him away over Aaron Henry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pull up.
I think that's all we got.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
you for coming on.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you. Great conversation, great episode. If you want to shout out anything, you can do that right now.
The first, thank y'all for having me on. I love being on these podcasts. On Twitter, you can follow me at Global Scouting _. On Instagram, you can follow me at Global NBA Scouting. That's really what all I'm on right now. I'll expand eventually, but yeah, that's all I got. Again, thank y'all for having me on. It was actually a blast.
Thank you for coming. That was really good.
Yeah, you're
conversation.
more than welcome
Really
to
good
come back.
Yeah, whenever you want, man. You're
Facts.
welcome, man.
I appreciate that.
All right. So with that being said, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, any of those, do me a favor, give us a like or review. It'll help us get way higher in the algorithm. But man, with that being said, it's the 3-man breakdown. We out this month.
Yes, sir.
sir.